Everyone, Sam Perlex Carlson here. Today we're going to be looking at Sid Meier's Civilization 5, and this is basically like the quick and dirty LAN version. Basically, the scenario is you're at a LAN party, you and your friends are all jacked up to play some Civ 5. You launch the game, and you are totally overwhelmed with all the things that are going on. You're sucking, you're dying, and you're like, "What the hell is going on? We need to figure out how to play this." This is the quick and dirty beginner's tutorial, I guess. Right, let's switch over to the game. So we're going to be taking a look at just the basics. If you're interested in a very comprehensive, like, I want to know everything about Civ 5 so I can be the best player in the world, this is not the video for you. I noticed there is a tutorial on YouTube that's about an hour and 22 minutes long. You can go watch that. I think that's probably pretty comprehensive. But this one's going to be, let's just get in, let's start playing. We'll figure the rest out as we go. We just need to get the basics down. The only thing I'm going to focus on before I launch the actual game here is there are different leaders to pick from. As you can see, there is a fairly decent list. I wouldn't be too concerned, honestly. If you're just starting the game, don't really, pick a portrait you like or your favorite country. I mean, the bonuses you get here are generally fairly minimal, and you can, if you just play good, you can kind of like negate the bonuses. But if you do want some recommendations, just like I avoid city-state influence bonuses because I just never deal with city-states. I kill them and I move on. So I'd rather much I like the plus 25% production by Rome. That's awesome. Or gold or whatever. Unhappiness. I hate managing the happiness of my citizens. They're all a bunch of assholes. So anything that mitigates unhappiness is awesome. So I'm just going to pick random because I don't really give a shit. And hopefully this doesn't take too long to load. One thing I want to mention is if you are at a LAN and you're playing this with your friends and it is not working, let me mute that. Oh, can I mute it? Hold on. There we go. If you are at a LAN and you launch, your friend is hosting the server and you're like, huh, I can't find it. I noticed that Windows Firewall will like override their settings and launch in the background, even if you have Windows Firewall off, because I don't even use it. It never pops up for other games, but for Civ 5 it did, and it was running in the background, so I had to Alt-Tab out, hit allow, and then I was able to connect. So if you're having issues there, that might be the reason. As you can see, if you've never played this, ooh, Jesus. If you've never played this game before, during the loading screen, there's this little thing that talks to you and reads you the paragraph there, and I don't think you can turn it off unless you turn the sound completely off, so that's kind of annoying. But it does give you a nice little description of what you can expect. Is it seriously talking to me with the sound muted? Or did I mute it? It probably lagged out. Alright, come on. There we go. Okay, so we're heading on in. Okay, so you can see, I started with a bunch of units right now. That's because I'm actually in the future. I didn't start in the ancient era. Generally, if you started in the ancient era, you will start with a single settler and, I believe, just one warrior unit. But since I'm in the future, I have a number of units to select from. So the first thing you're going to want to do right off the bat is it seems like you almost always start in a fairly good location with one of your settlers. So on the first turn, I always just make a city right away because then you can get things rolling. If you spend too much time moving your settler around, finding the perfect spot, you're already like 5-6 turns behind, and that kind of sucks. With this many units, the first thing I like to do is just send all these gun units that got battling capabilities off into every direction just so I can kind of see what I'm working with. This settler, I'm going to move him. Since I have multiple settlers, I'm going to actually move these guys to better locations because you can actually build a city right next to another city. It kind of makes sense, right? These worker units allow you to build various things. What we're going to do, and what I recommend doing if you're just new to the game and you want to get rolling, is just go to this little icon down here and set them to auto build. Now this won't always be the most optimal thing, but since you don't really give a shit about that, just set them to auto and just forget about them. Who cares? Next, you're going to want to, everything that you can do on your turn is going to show up in this bottom right corner. This is going to contain everything, so you don't even really need to look around the map. And trust me, you will make your friends a lot happier and less likely to punch you in the face if you just follow this bottom right corner. Because if you actually go around the map being like, I wonder if this guy can do anything, I wonder if this guy can do anything, you are going to make the game like the longest game in the world. This game can literally take a couple days to finish because there's just so much to do and the turns take so long. So you want to try and keep a good pace up, even at the beginning, just to save time. So, first thing to do is choose production. Wow, there's so many things to choose from. How can I decide? Well, basically, you're going to want to look for, do I have enough units? Well, I'm pretty comfortable with what I have, although it would be nice to have more workers or a workboat. Although a workboat, like in this situation, a workboat would be nice to have early because there's fish I can grab right here. But if this fish wasn't here and the fish are only over here, I don't want a workboat because I have to buy this territory in this screen, which I can't even do yet, and it would actually cost probably a decent amount of money to get it. So I don't actually want a workboat, if this was the only one. But a workboat in this situation is going to be fairly handy. You also want more workers, especially since I have multiple settlers. Like when this guy gets here and this guy gets here, I want at least one worker in each city so that they're doing something. Otherwise, they're going to get all lazy and not do shit. And since I have military units too, these are acting as my scouts right now. In the early game, like if you play like the primitive era or whatever it is, and you only have a settler and like one warrior unit, you'll probably want to build a scout, which I believe he was probably one of these other guys. But you'll want to build a scout right off the bat, just because it's nice to explore, and it's nice to know, are there goddamn barbarians on the other side of this mountain that are going to constantly be sending troops into my city and stealing my worker units? It's like the most annoying thing in the world. So you want to be very cautious and aware of where they are. So for this turn anyway, I'm going to build worker units, and I suggest you do too, because you want to make sure you have at least one, if not 2 or 3 worker units working your properties, your land, your territory, because it's a good idea. You want stuff to get done. Unless you're playing like really aggressive players or bots, then you might want to like think about, troops or something like that. But for the most part, worker units are going to be good. Next, you're going to want to choose research. For research, when you're at a LAN party and you're playing with your friends, you can all team up and do the same research and get researches done really fast. Because right now this says 47 turns, which is like super, super long. But they'll go down as my science research goes up. So you can read each one. It tells you exactly what it'll do for you. Build hospitals, reveals oil, construct a well. Depending on what you want to do. If you're playing a really aggressive bot, or you're in the middle of the most epic battles and you're at war with everyone around you, then you're probably going to want to have like artillery research because you want to blast the shit out of them. But if it's peaceful, maybe you want to build hospitals so your citizens aren't dying of like polio and stuff like that. Or this would be another steam power. This would actually be good, like, because it gives you a production, as you see when you click on your city. There's +5 food, +8 production. The higher your production, and see, like, don't worry too much about food, don't worry too much about gold, science, culture. Those things kind of come on their own. But one thing you really need to focus on is your production. Make sure you're doing things that increase your production, because the higher the production, the faster you can build troops and new buildings and wonders and all those things. Production is like, the other ones are important, but that one's really where it's at. Otherwise, you're going to it's going to take you 10, 15 turns just to build one thing. You're going to be so far behind, you're going to be like ripping out your hair. Okay, so I'm just going to pick steam power because I want that production bonus. I'm going to hit next turn. It's going to do a bunch of stuff on the computer side and the enemy side. And my settler is going to move there to build the city, although he's out of turn, so he can't actually build it. One recommendation, too, is that if you have bandits in the area or city-states or enemies or something, all they have to do is stand on top of your settlers or your worker units and they steal them instantly. And sometimes it can be very difficult to chase them down. So what I like to do is put a military unit on top of my settlers or on top of my worker units. And that means that they have to fight me to get that unit. I highly suggest it because seriously, it is really annoying if they get stolen away from you. Okay, so I'm going to move these guys around just so there, and I guess he will embark onto ships. And let's move you there. Oh, I found a natural wonder. Natural wonders, all you have to do is build a city within the territory, and you grab it. So maybe it would be a good idea to build a city closer. Or would this guy be better? I'm actually going to want to move him. This is interesting. I'm going to move him this way because I want to put a city over Mian. And this guy will actually continue to move over Mian. And that guy will stay there just in case there's bandits on the other side of this hill. Adopting policies. Policies I'm not going to go into too much right now because there's a lot of reading. Look at, holy shit, there's so much reading. Personally, I really like liberty, commerce, and then like autocracy. Those are the three I go with a lot, just because liberty, liberty and commerce really get your empire off the ground. It helps you, like, you get a free settler, you get a free worker unit, you get more production, more culture, so you can get more policies. You don't have to worry about happiness as much. Commerce is great because there's money, happiness. That one I don't really care about. More production. Autocracy is nice because, look at, where is it? Gold cost of purchasing units reduced by 33%, which is nice later in the game because at some point, when you're rolling in the cash, you're going to actually want to go to here, purchase, and just purchase shit. Because then you can use it right away, and you don't have to, like, wait 10 turns to get a windmill. No, you can just have it right now. And as Americans, we just love having stuff right now. So I'm just going to adopt liberty. You can read all about them all you want, but be careful because your friends might punch you in the head if they want you to go faster. So I'm just buying the stuff that I normally buy. Unit needs orders. This is the worker unit that just spawned as a part of that policy. I'm going to set them to auto because I don't really care. And the settler is going to go running off to join his friends, and we're going to next turn and keep it going. So this unit, I'm going to actually move him again. So as you can see, this is actually kind of sucky in a way because these settlers, it would have been nice if they built cities already. We're already at turn 167. That's actually just because I started much later. But, you know, it would have been nice to build a city even faster, but that's okay. So we're going to be exploring. So I found an English settler. But we're at peace right now, so it's actually not that big of a deal. So I'm just going to be like, hey, bitch, nope. And we're going to move you there. And this worker unit, you need to be on auto. And this settler is going to... maybe I actually shouldn't have moved him this way. Maybe I should have moved him over here. I'm actually going to move him back. So you can see that settler is totally useless at this moment, but that's okay. So we'll do that, and we'll do that, and we will move him forward. And so we're just kind of exploring the map just to see what's going on. Choose production. Do I want more workers? Nah, I got enough workers. I'm feeling comfortable with that. I might want to get that workboat I was talking about. Or, when I look through here, like, I'm not going to worry about wonders right now, although ironworks production +8 would be pretty bitchin'. But I kind of want to get the city rolling, right? I want to get, like, some of these basic buildings out of the way. So I'm going to look for production +2. I like that. Harbor, well, I don't have a boat yet, so that's probably not the greatest. But I will probably want that at some point. A theater, which gives me happiness, although I have +7 happiness, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. Basically, you're just trying to mitigate, like, which building should I build? Like, at the early stages here, I want more production so I can build stuff sooner. So I'm going to build a windmill. But if my happiness goes down, or look, I'm at -3 money, oh shit, I might want to build something that gives me money. Although I don't know if I have anything. Yeah, bank +25% gold, that's great. That'll be really awesome. Although, one thing I'm going to recommend is, like, your money, with your money, you might want to, like, once you connect the cities with roads, your money will, like, just start to skyrocket a lot more. So make sure you're doing that. If you're like, how come my money's so damn low all the time? Well, it's actually because, you know, you have to spend money to, like, research things or produce units, and all your units cost money to exist because, you know, they have to eat and stuff like that. So that's important. But, if you want to, like, try and improve your money, make sure you build some roads, like, right away to your cities, especially at this point in the game. At the very early, you know, it's a little harder because it's early on in the game, so you have to just be more patient, but definitely connect your cities, and you won't have money problems. Happiness, honestly, like, happiness is annoying. I'm not going to lie. So let's just, what is he standing on right now? Coal. I don't want to build them on top of coal, so I'm going to build the city right here. Now this troop is kind of, whoa. This soldier right here is now free up because I don't have to, like, stand him on top of that dude. So I'm just going to have him go explore now. Just so we can get a little bit more vision, I can know what I'm dealing with. This settler is going to build on a river, which is a very good idea. rivers, like if you build your city on the ocean or on a river, you actually get to build extra buildings. Like you get to build like windmills because it's on the water and stuff like that. Whereas if you built this like in the middle of the desert, the game's going to be like, wow, you're so retarded, and not give you sweet buildings to build. So we move around, explore, blah blah blah. Checking it out. So as you can see, I can't go in that little territory there because that's the English territory, and it will require me to declare war on them. I'm going to move him there, and as you can see, I have my 2 new cities. I get to produce production, or choose productions for them. I don't have any worker units over here, although I do have 4 right now. So that's, I mean, I don't know how many worker units I'd want to actually build yet. Like I might want to do, I think I'll do 1 here, and then I'm going to do some buildings over here. Just because I can start sending these worker units, like these cities are close. So I'm just going to send these worker units like to connect it with roads, and then I'll be able to travel between these really quickly with those worker units. You don't want to have too many worker units because then you're going to be running a deficit on gold. They're going to be all pissed off because there's not enough food for everyone, that sort of nonsense. So instead, I'm going to start building up production. This gives me +2 food, +1 production. That's alright. It only takes 3 turns. That's pretty badass. And we can get everything rolling then with the new cities. So as you can see, my worker units, having like kind of maximized this territory's like potential, I guess, they're going to start moving out, and actually, since they're on automation right now, they're actually going to move out and start building stuff. If you ever want to turn them off automation, all you have to do is click right here, stop automation. You'll retake control of them, and then you can tell them to build. You can say, because sometimes they'll do really dumb things, like I don't know why, sometimes they will literally run out into the heat of battle. I don't know what the fuck they're thinking, because then they get captured, they get killed. It's like, you dumbass, you could have just stayed home, built some stuff, you could have helped me out, but no, you just went aggro on the enemy. I don't get it. But for now, I mean, this is a nice safe territory. They'll be totally fine. So continue exploring, and I think I'm actually going to wrap up the tutorial here because I don't, like I said, I don't want this to go too long. This is supposed to be like a quick let's get in. Plus, it looks like it's lagging a bit. Yeah, so just look for, to summarize, just look for production buildings so you can get your production up. Worry about the other ones less. Just worry about production, get that going. Build worker units, but not too many. Build soldiers and have them travel with your worker units, especially if the territory is dangerous. You do not want barbarians to be coming in because they are dumb and they will steal your units all the time. Get your cities built up as soon as you can. Generally, you can build your first city like right off the bat because it's almost always in a good position. Unless maybe there's a different setting where you can say, I don't want that. I don't know why you'd turn that on. Yeah, set your units to just auto build. They generally do a pretty good job besides when they run off into battle. If they are acting weird and you do have to take control and you're like, what should I do with them? Just do what makes sense. Like, build on these things that are valuable. I mean, like, look at, this is just plains. It outputs 1-1. This is just a desert. Like, don't build there. That would be dumb, right? Build here. You get a nice luxury resource. You get 7 coal. That's pretty bitchin'. You get more happiness. What is this even? Silver. You get +2, +3. Like, it just, do those obvious things. It makes sense. Build by these. Look at this, gives +10 culture, +2 money. Super awesome. So that's it. That wraps it up. Hopefully that will help you just like get into the game and start playing. Everything else you can kind of, just as you're playing through the game, you can keep reading about the different policies. You can read about like the different buildings you can build. Just use a little bit of common sense, but hopefully that gets you started, gets you in the game, and you can start having fun with all your friends. But mind what I said, don't take too long or people get angry. So, okay, thanks very much for watching. As always, stay tuned for future game coverage and stuff like that. You can consider subscribing above. Everyone helps. Also, be sure to check out youtube.com/spawnroom for esports related content. There's sweet stuff there. And then or actually go to notdef.com. That's where I do other secret philosophy kind of sweet stuff. So check that out too.